At the beginning of the drama, we are shown a scene from 2011 where we see the female lead, Chusia. She is at a place where there is a lot of snow. A person is following her. Chusia tells that person, "Don't follow me," and starts running. In all this, she is about to fall from the mountain cliff, but that person grabs her hand. Then he says, "All our secrets will also go away with you." After this, he lets go of Chusia's hand. Then, the scene shifts to 2021. Here, we see the drama's male lead, Xiaoong, who has gone to an event. Then, he checks the server of the game that is about to be launched at the event on his laptop, when suddenly Chusia falls from above into his lap. Chusia sees Xiaodong's face, slaps him, and leaves. After this, Chusia doesn't remember anything. Then the moon flashes, and Chusia appears in Xiaodong's car and faints there. Meanwhile, Xiaodong's friend Xiaorui tells him, "I know. The famous game developer from China, Winter, is actually you." The next day, Chusia wakes up. She gets out of the car and finds her way to Xiaodong's washroom. Xiaodong gets scared and brings her out of the washroom. He asks, "How did you come here? Who are you?" Chusia says, "I was outside. You tell me how I got inside." But in this argument, Chusia ultimately leaves the house, so Xiaodong says, "If I see you again, I will call the police." But as soon as Chusia goes outside, she appears in Xiaodong's house again. Xiaodong is walking around the house with a small pistol. Seeing Chusia, he gives her his lie detector assistant robot. He says, "This will find out whether you are lying or telling the truth." Just then, Chusia reaches the road outside and again reaches Xiaodong's house. This starts happening on a loop. So after this, Xiaodong tells Chusia, "I will help you with this problem." After this, Chusia takes him to the place from where she was disappearing again and again. Now, when Chusia takes a step forward with Xiaodong, she doesn't disappear. Xiaodong says, "You lied to me?" Chusia says, "I am telling the truth." Then they are in the car, and Xiaodong's lie detector assistant says Chusia will slowly get closer to Xiaodong. On the other side, another female lead of the drama, Chen, goes to a place and waits for another male lead character of the drama, Schwan Hi. After this, Schwan Hi gives her a contract and says, "We have to keep our public and private lives separate." On the other side, Chusia goes to a company called Young Tech with Xiaodong. A person comes there and tells Xiaodong, "I am the project manager here. My name is Sui." Then his eyes fall on Chusia and he asks, "Who is this?" Xiaodong says, "She is my cousin." Further, Chusia says, "Actually, I can't live without him." Anyway, then Xiaodong tells Chusia to play a game on the phone and says, "Remember, don't tell anyone about yourself." After this, one of Xiaodong's colleagues notices Chusia. Two more colleagues come there and start talking to Chusia. Chusia says, "I want to know about my identity." Hearing this, a colleague says, "You are looking at Winter's game. You should ask him." So Chusia messages hi to Winter. After this, she and Xiaodong return home. Chusia says, "You must ask your assistant about my identity." Xiaodong says, "Even if you don't say it, I will still ask." Just then, Xiaorui arrives at his house. Xiaodong tells him about Chusia. Xiaorui wants to see Chusia, but Xiaodong doesn't allow this and kicks Xiaorui out of the house. On the other side, Chusia is inside a room in that house, and while wandering around, she comes in front of Xiaodong's secret room. There, Chusia says, "You have a lot of secrets here." Xiaodong says, "Actually, this place belongs to my friend. I just take care of it." After this, a machine scans Chusia's body, and just then, the servers there start getting affected. There are magnetic disturbances there. So Xiaodong tells Chusia, "Breathe deeply." When Chusia does this, the servers there get fixed. At the same time, there is a professor in a lab, and he also notices that some magnetic changes have occurred in the lab. His colleagues say this only happens when a supermoon is present, and such a supermoon is seen only once in 10 years. Here, Xiaodong is looking at his phone where Chusia has written, "Hello, Winter. Please tell me my identity. I feel very lonely here." So Xiaodong tells Chusia, "I will take you on a tour of the city tomorrow." Over there, Chen is waiting with food cooked for Schwan Hi, but Schwan Hi's assistant comes and says Schwan Hi is busy, but he has sent this gift for you. Chen gets angry and starts talking about Schwan Hi's ex. So the assistant says, "Don't compare yourself with his ex and make a place for yourself in Yuan Hi's heart." Here at night, Xiaodong is sleeping. Suddenly, he sees Chusia is in his room. He gets scared and says, "How did you come here?" Chusia also doesn't know the answer to this. Xiaodong thinks, "The distance between me and Chusia has gone beyond a certain limit. That's why this happened." Then Chusia feels hungry, so Xiaodong takes her to a restaurant. Chusia eats everything very fast but doesn't like the food. Xiaodong asks, "Besides moving from here to there, do you have any other skills? Like earning money, because I earn very little. So Chusia asks, you will pay for the food, right? Then Chusia sees some cats and says, even these cats have a family, but I don't. Xiaodong says, I will help you find your family. Just then, we see a template with Chusia is missing written on it lying on the road. On the other side, Schwan. He suddenly wakes up from his sleep and calls out Chusia's name. Here, Chusia tells Xiaodong to wake up, but he doesn't, so water from a pot falls on Xiaodong. Xiaodong angrily says, what have you done? Chusia thinks, maybe there is some issue with this pot. Then Xiaorui comes to Xiaodong's house, and Chusia says, why does this best friend of yours come to your house every day? Then, when Xiaodong opens the door, Xiaorui spits water from his mouth on his face and says, I read somewhere that throwing salt water makes evil spirits go away. Anyway, then Xiaodong again starts telling Xiaorui about Chusia, and Xiaorui thinks there must be an evil spirit behind this. After this, Xiaodong goes to do a part-time job at a place. The manager there sees Chusia and tells Xiaodong, you can't be dating here. Xiaodong says, she is my cousin. I brought her here because she needs to gather life experiences. After all this, Xiaodong is taking coffee for a client. There is a client there whose picture Xiaodong was looking at earlier. Xiaodong starts copying data from this client's phone. Over there, Chusia touches a device, and that device stops working. So, this client gets angry at her. Chusia says, I didn't know that just by touching it, so much would happen. On the other side, Xiaodong's work of copying data is completed. Xiaodong comes and takes Chusia's side, and then he gets into a fight with his manager. When it comes to calling the police, Xiaodong shows his black card to his manager, quits the job, and leaves. The manager thinks, if he is so rich, why does he do a part-time job? Later, Xiaodong works as a waiter in a restaurant. He makes Chusia sit at a table. Just then, Xiaorui comes there and tells Xiaodong, I have made a psychiatrist's appointment for you. Xiaodong refuses to take treatment from psychologist Dr. Tian. After this, Xiaorui starts telling Tian about Chusia, and he speaks very ill of Chusia. Chusia overhears this and thinks he needs to be taught a lesson. Then Xiaorui goes to the washroom, so Chusia puts her hand on the switchboard and electronic disturbances start happening there. Just then, Xiaodong arrives there, and Xiaorui, scared, tells him everything in the washroom started exploding. After Chusia comes home, Xiaodong's aunt, whose name is Wei Wei, thinks Chusia is Xiaodong's girlfriend. Xiaodong says she is Xiaorui's classmate. Anyway, then Aunt Wei Wei says, you have to take this coat to a university professor, Chen, and also check if he has a girlfriend or not. After this, Xiaodong goes to the professor and tells him about Chusia. The professor checks her and tells him, this girl has a very strong magnetic field inside her. She came on a full moon day, and on that day, gravitational forces collided with the Earth, and because of this girl, your phone also got modified. An assistant of Chen secretly listens to all this and thinks, how can someone come here from space? Anyway, then Chusia and Xiaodong are in a park. Chusia says, I must have done something bad in my previous life, that's why all this is happening. Just then, Schwan Hi arrives there and sees Chusia. Schwan Hi thinks, how is she here? Then he goes to Chusia's parents and says, I want to conduct a death memorial service for Chusia. Chusia's dad says, she is not dead, she is just missing. She will come back. Schwan Hi says, she went missing 10 years ago. We should move on. On the other side, Xiaodong tells Xiaorui, 10 years ago, my dad had created a mobile application. Mobile companies fought to get my dad to sign the project. But then a company named Piggy Tech said, we created this application and accused my dad of theft. My dad couldn't bear it, and he died of a heart attack. He continues, I have investigated all the shareholders of Piggy Tech Company. Only Xiaoyang is left now. After this, Chusia orders some things for the kitchen. Xiaodong says, there was no need for this. I have already arranged for things for the kitchen. Anyway, then he has made a mini kitchen in his workspace so that Chusia can cook there and stay near Xiaodong because she can't stay away from him. Then Chen comes to meet Xiaodong. Xiaorui tells Chusia she is Xiaodong's dream girl. Then Chen tells Xiaodong, I am going to work at an event, you have to handle the background there. After this, Chen goes to Schwan Hu and says, the memorial service has started, we should go. Here, Chusia tells Xiaodong, she is your dream girl. So Xiaodong says, she is not my dream girl. Who is your dream girl? Chusia says, Winter. Xiaodong says, I have created a new ID for you from where you can message Winter. After this, Chusia's memorial service starts. Chusia's picture is shown at the event. Chusia asks, is that me? Why is Chen holding a memorial service for me? Just then, Xiaodong gives instructions to stop the live streaming of the event. Then Chusia arrives at that place, and Schwan Hi sees her and holds her hand. Chusia says, who are you? Leave me. Xiaodong comes and rescues Chusia. Over there, Xiaoyang comes to Schwan Hi and talks about making a deal related to a 10-year-old project. On the other side, Chusia tells Xiaodong, I remember now. My name is Chusia. Xiaodong gets information about Chusia from his robot assistant. Then they go to Chusia's house. Chusia's mom has a pacemaker in her body, and because of the magnetic field inside Chusia, Chusia's mom gets affected and faints. Then, Xiaodong admits her to the hospital. Then Chusia and Xiaodong go to Professor Chen. Chen says, Chusia actually came here 10 years ago. She doesn't remember anything, but her personality is the same. She looks just like she did 10 years ago. Chusia asks, can I go back? Chen says, I don't know. Chen's assistant is also secretly listening to all this. Then Chen tells Chusia, keep your emotions in control, otherwise other people might get affected by you. The magnetic field inside you will start working more. Chusia says, does that mean I can never meet my parents? Chen says, I will make a device for you that will bring your emotions under control. Then Xiaodong tells Chusia to jump from the roof. She is about to do so when Xiaodong stops her. He says, I was joking. You fell into my lap that day, so I said that. To test his joke, Chusia playfully falls on Xiaodong, but nothing happened. Xiaodong says, we have to wait until the next supermoon because you came on the day the supermoon was visible. After this, we see in a flashback that Chusia forgets the way to her house. So her dad colors the stairs in front of her house so that from the next time, Chusia can find her house. Here in the current scene, Chen's assistant says, we should do research on that girl. Chen says, are you saying we should experiment on her? But then Chen refuses to experiment on her. On the other side, Chusia gets a message from Winter which says, I have told your parents to go to a nursing home for treatment. Here, Xiaoyang comes to Schwan Hi and says, your team is not able to solve my application's issue. Why don't we use someone else's experience? Schwan Hi says, but that would be stealing. Xiaoyang says, we did the same thing 10 years ago too. On the other side, Xiaodong and Chusia come in front of Chusia's house. They enter the house and Chusia says, my mom and dad have kept all my belongings safe. But alas, I can't talk to them. After this, Xiaodong brings Chusia to a place. He says, are you remembering anything? Just then, a girl is talking to a lady there about renting a shop. But that lady refuses to rent the shop to that girl. Then that girl sees Chusia and hugs her. She says, where were you for so many years? I am your best friend, Yuan. Chusia says, I don't remember anything. I first met Xiaodong. Xiaodong says, yes, I picked her up. Chusia says, am I a stray cat to you that you picked me up? Xiaodong says, you were hungry, you didn't remember anything. I rescued you. Then Xiaodong tells Yuan, are you really her best friend? This girl is Yuan. Then he shows Yuan a picture of a fat girl. So Yuan says, this is my picture that I deleted a long time ago. Then Schwan Hi arrives there and tells Chusia, I am your boyfriend. I have missed you for 10 years. Yuan says, really? Then yesterday, when I asked you to stop the live streaming of Chusia, why didn't you stop it? Schwan Hi says, this is between me and Chusia. Then Schwan Hi tells Chusia, I will help you remember your memories. Later, Chusia tells Xiaodong, I think he will help me remember my memories. Xiaodong says, one day ago he held your funeral. I don't think he is a good person. After this, Schwan Hi tells Chusia, meet me at a university, and gives her a picture of both of them. Chusia goes and tells Xiaodong about this, but Xiaodong refuses to go there. So Chusia puts her hand on his laptop, and disturbances start happening on the laptop. Because of this, now Xiaodong has to listen to Chusia. Then they both go to meet Schwan Hi, and Schwan Hi tells Chusia to stand under a tree, but Xiaodong refuses. Then Schwan Hi takes Chusia to the university where Chusia had confessed her feelings for him. Then Schwan Hi takes her to the library, but she doesn't remember anything. Then Chusia and Xiaodong start returning home, and Chusia says, do you think he was really my boyfriend? I didn't feel anything emotional. But when two people are in love, there is an emotional feeling between them. Xiaodong says, nothing like that has been proven in science. Over there, Chen makes that device for Chusia with which Chusia's energy can be controlled. Then his assistant sees that device and thinks, I can't let this go. I have to do something with it. On the other side, Yuan asks Chusia, you met Schwan Hi yesterday. Did you remember anything? Chusia says, no. Yuan says, after you left, he didn't take care of your parents. But now he says he was missing you. I think this is all a pretense. Then Yuan tells Chusia, we both had opened our shop summertime, but then it closed. We have to open it again. I only have 5,000 in cash. Chusia says, I don't have money and Xiaodong also doesn't want to invest money right now. Just then, Xiaorui comes there and says, I will invest the money. Actually, he has come at Xiaodong's behest. Then Winter sends money to Chusia's account, but Xiaorui says, I don't know, Winter. After this, Xiaodong and Chusia go to Chen. Chen makes Chusia wear that device, which is a bracelet. Then he tells Chusia, get excited. On the other side, Chen's assistant is doing something on the computer. Here, Chusia screams, but no change happens. Chen says this will only work for a short time. Later, Xiaodong tells Chusia, "Don't worry, Chen will find another solution." Then they both separate from each other. Meanwhile, Schwan Hi comes and takes Chusia somewhere. Chusia messages Xiaodong, "Schwan Hi is taking me somewhere." Then Schwan Hi brings her to a beach which is now closed. Schwan Hi shows Chusia a video in which Chusia is seen on that beach. Here we are shown a flashback where Schwan Hi and Chusia are enjoying a lot on this beach. Just then, Chusia tells Schwan He, "I will always love you." The scene returns to the current time and Chusia tells Schwan He, "Sorry, I don't remember anything." Then Chusia remembers Yuan telling her, "Schwan He is selfish." Anyway, then Schwan He drops Chusia at summertime, and seeing this, Xiaodong feels jealous. The next day morning, Chusia's alarm rings, so Xiaodong tells her, "Turn off the alarm." But Chusia doesn't turn off the alarm. Xiaodong comes out of the room and Chusia says, "So sorry, today is summertime's opening, so I woke up early." On the other side, Yuan goes to pick up some things, but then she falls. Xiaorui comes there and says, "Your soft hands are for holding bouquets, not for lifting heavy things." Then Xiaorui goes to pick up the things and he also falls. After this, Yuan tells him, "Don't waste your time on me. I am not interested in younger men." After this, Chusia and Yuan are at summertime, but no customer comes there. Chusia sees the delivery boys and thinks, "Why is everyone wearing the same uniform?" A delivery boy comes to summertime and Chusia thinks he is a customer. The delivery boy says, "I am a delivery boy." Chusia says, "Doesn't anyone come out of their house to buy food these days?" The delivery boy says, "This is the era of the internet. Everyone gets online delivery." Then Yuan tells Chusia, "You will only get customers' orders when you remember the recipe of your special dish, Summer Kiss." Chusia says, "At one time, Xuan Hu and I loved each other. He will remember this recipe." Then she goes to Schwan Hi and says this thing. And here, Yuan tells Xiaodong, Chusia has gone on a date with Schwan He. Xiaodong gets jealous. Over there, Schwan Hi tells Chusia, "I will help you, but you have to fulfill my 3 wishes. First, after making Summer Kiss, you will bring it for me too. Second, you will go for a meal with me." Then they both come to a restaurant and Schwan Hi says, "I want to give myself a second chance. I want to do everything for you." Chusia says, "The most important thing for me at this time is to know the recipe of summertime." Then she asks Xuan He about his 3rd wish so that after that she gets to know the recipe. But Xuan He says, "I will not tell you the recipe." Chusia asks, "Why?" Xuan He says, "Because whenever I used to ask you about the recipe, you also used to say, 'I will not tell you.'" After this, Xiaodong sees that Chusia has used money from his credit card to spend time with Schwan Hi. Actually, he has given access to his credit card to Chusia. Anyway, then they both go to Chen, and Chen asks Chusia, "You are not feeling bad?" Chusia says, "No, I am feeling good." Chen says, "Wearing this bracelet, don't go to unknown places with unknown people." From there, Xiaodong says, "Yes, you shouldn't go with unknown people." Actually, he is calling Schwan Hi an unknown person. After this, a person comes and tells Chen, "Your wife has come." Chen says, "Wife? What do you mean?" Then, Aunt Wei Wei comes there and tells Chen, "No door can stop me from entering your heart." After this, Chusia is at home making different cakes and feeding them to Xiaodong so that she finally gets to know the recipe of the Summer Kiss dish. She asks Xiaodong, "Are you getting a feeling like happiness, sunshine, and falling in love?" Xiaodong says, "No." Chusia says, "Why don't you kiss me?" "Because the name of this dish is Summer Kiss." Xiaodong says, "That's not a good idea." But then Xiaodong gets nervous and kisses Chusia. After this, Yuan tastes the cake made by Chusia and says, "You did it." We see in a flashback that Xiaodong's dad had brought this same cake on his birthday in his childhood. The scene comes to the current time, and Chusia takes this cake for Schwan He and goes to the reception of Schwan He's office. She tells the staff there, "Give this to Schwan He." She does this because she had promised Schwan He that she would make a cake for him. Just then, Chen sees her and calls her. She says, "Stay away from Schwan Hi. I am his girlfriend." Chusia says, "I will not meet him again, and there is nothing like that between us." Then Schwan Hi eats that cake and thinks, Chusia has remembered the recipe. I don't want her to remember her memories. Over there, Chusia makes a Summer Kiss cake and keeps it at a place where she had made and kept this cake 10 years ago as well. Actually, 10 years ago when Chusia had done this, she had disappeared since then. She thinks, the customer for whom I had kept the cake might have a hand in my disappearance. That's why she's now testing who comes and takes that cake. And from this, it will be known who that customer was. Then Yuan gives her an idea. We have a past customer list on which the addresses of the customers are given. You go to those customers and deliver the cake. From this, you can find out about that specific customer. When Chusia gets on her cycle to leave, Schwan Hi comes there and suggests to her, "You go in my car to deliver to those people." Then they both go out to deliver. And a customer makes a video of them and makes it viral. Everyone sees this video. After this, Chusia returns to the shop and Yuan shows her that video. Then Xiaorui and Xiaodong come to summertime. Chusia says, I didn't find that customer. Xiaodong says, going with an ex didn't help. Chusia says, if I had gone on my cycle, the cakes would have been ruined. Xiaodong says, I don't like Schwan Hi being around me. Chusia says, he is not that bad. Xiaodong says, I don't like trash. Then Xiaodong launches an app for the summertime shop and says, with this app, even a 10-year-old customer will get to know about the shop's reopening. On that side, Schwan Hi calls Chusia and says, if you need any help related to delivery, let me know. Just then, Schwan Hi's assistant, Li Jing, tells him, Summertime has launched a new app. Its developer is Xiaodong. Just then, Schwan Hi tells Chen to promote that shop. While promoting that shop, Chen tells about the love story of Xiaodong and Chusia. After the live, Chusia comes and tells her, we are not in a relationship. On that side, Schwan Hi calls Chen and asks, why did you do that? Chen says, those two made a cake together. Chusia has moved on. Here, Xiaorui comes to drop Yuan at the shop and asks her for a kiss. Yuan says, being my driver is a big deal. Now I have to kiss you for this? Then, Xiaorui kisses her. After this, everyone sits down to celebrate because many of Chusia's cakes have been sold today. Just then, Schwan Hi comes there and wants to celebrate with them. Then he goes to give a bouquet to Chusia, which Xiaodong takes from his hand. Xiaodong says, Chusia and I live together. Schwan Hi tells Chusia, you couldn't find any other place to live? Saying this, he gives Chusia the keys to a house and tells her, go and live there. Then Chusia and Xiaodong are in the car and Xiaodong asks, are you really going to that house? Look, if you go to him, you will end up in the lion's cave and then even I won't be able to save you from there. Hearing this, Chusia gets angry and gets out of the car. After this, she goes to sleep at summertime. Just then, Chen's assistant comes outside the shop and thinks about Chusia. Your energy is increasing because of your emotions. Then Chusia sees someone's shadow outside the shop. When that shadow person comes inside, Chusia throws a blanket on him. Then when she lifts that blanket, she sees that this person is Xiaodong. She is putting a band-aid on Xiaodong, and Xiaodong asks, why did you hit me? Chusia says, why did you scare me? Then Chusia gives Xiaodong noodles to eat, so Xiaodong starts telling a story. When I was young, my dad used to feed me only noodles. I used to complain about it, but my dad was always busy with his work. He had made a very good application, but he was later accused of stealing it. Then he passed away. Since then, I've been alone, until a girl like you appeared. Anyway, then they both fall asleep. And it's raining heavily with thunderstorms outside, so Chusia gets scared and holds Xiaodong's hand. After this, Chen is walking down the road when a drunkard comes and starts forcibly clicking photos with her. Just then, Schwan Hi comes, hits that drunkard, and picks Chen up in his arms. After this, Schwan Hi goes to his dad, and his dad says, until you solve the application issue, don't come to me. Over there, everyone is sitting and discussing that people have commented about summertime. They are interested in who Chusia's boyfriend is. In the poll options, fans have listed the potential boyfriends as Xiaodong, Winter, and the IT guy. At night, Chusia tells Xiaodong, I will make noodles for you when we go home. Here, a flashback comes where in childhood, Xiaodong's dad is telling him, when you grow up, your loved one will make noodles for you. Then, you will also like it. In the current time, Xiaodong thinks, Dad, I have found that person. After this, whenever Xiaodong is about to tell Chusia this, something or the other comes and interrupts him. So he laughs and says, come on, let's go home. Anyway, then the next day, that same assistant of Chen comes to summertime, attaches something to the machine, and leaves. When Chusia goes near that machine, she faints. Xiaodong takes her to Chen. Chen says, this happened due to energy loss. Xiaodong says, I found this device in her hand. Can you find out who did this? Chen says, yes. After this, that assistant of Chen comes inside the lab, and Chen's eyes fall on his coat. He asks, what is that in your coat? Xiaodong says, does this mean you did all this to Chusia? Can you take the responsibility of a human dying? That assistant says, is she even human? After this, Chen gets angry, takes that assistant's ID card, and kicks him out of the lab. Here, Yuan finds out about Chusia's reality. So Yuan takes Chusia to her house to live. There, Yuan says, when you fainted, Xiaodong got nervous. I think he has feelings for you. After this, we see Xiaodong sleeping on the sofa of Yuan's house. Because due to Chusia's issue, she cannot stay away from Xiaodong. Xiaorui is also with Xiaodong. Xiaorui says, I think you have feelings for Chusia. Why don't you confess this to her? Xiaodong says, the time has not come yet. The best confession is spending time together. The next day, Chusia tells Yuan, I am going back to Xiaodong's house because I feel safe there. Yuan agrees. Over there, Schwan Hi is thinking that his dad and Xiaoyang had asked him to sign an agreement related to that application issue. But in the past, Chusia had forbidden him from doing so. But Schwan Hi had told her, I am not as good as you think I am. Now in the current time, Schwan Hi signs that agreement. Anyway, then Chen comes to Schwan Hi. So Schwan He says, what do you want from me? Chen says, I want you. Schwan He says, that can't happen. And then he kisses Chen. On the other side, Xiaodong takes Chusia to the psychologist, Dr. Tian. There, Chusia remembers her memory of falling from a rock 10 years ago. Tian says, this is not an illusion, but a part of Chusia's memory. Then Xiaodong and Chusia come home and go to sleep. In the morning, Chusia goes to get breakfast, but suddenly she falls on top of Xiaodong. She says, I just went out and suddenly came here. Xiaodong says, your bracelet is still with Chen. That's why you have to control the distance. Then with a rope brought by Xiaodong's assistant robot, they both tie their hands together and go to the shop like that. To know more about the memories, they both go to Chusia's house and watch a childhood video of Chusia there. But suddenly that camera turns off. Then they take that camera to a shop to get it fixed. The shop owner says, its parts are very old, which are difficult to find. So Xiaodong posts from his winter ID, whoever sends the parts of this camera will be given a prize. After this, many parcels arrive at the summertime shop. Yuan tells Chusia, Winter gets to know about all your problems, which means he is around you. Then they both look towards Xiaodong and Xiaorui. Chusia says, it can't be Xiaorui because this Winter knows me very well. And besides you, only Xiaodong knows me well. So is Xiaodong Winter? After this, Xiaodong tells Chusia, the shop owner called and said your camera issue accidentally went into Winter's game, so Winter posted about your issue from his ID. After this, Yuan sees Winter's message on Xiaorui's phone and thinks he is Winter. So then at Xiaorui's behest, Xiaodong has to go and tell Yuan that he himself is Winter, but he says, don't tell Chusia this. First, let me make a place for myself in her heart, then I will tell her. Then Xiaorui says, I am a simple financer. At this, Yuan gets angry and says, what do you think? I only love money. After this, Yuan is in her house. Just then, Xiaodong and Xiaorui come to her house. Xiaodong says, I have some tickets to go to the amusement park, and then he tells everyone to go there. But Yuan refuses. So then Xiaorui apologizes to her and says, whatever punishment you give me, I will accept it. Then Yuan says, all right, now at the park, Yuan is shooting Xiaorui from behind with a gun. Here Chusia says, Xiaorui deserves this. Then Chusia and Xiaodong go to meet Dr. Tian, and she says, to remember memories, Chusia has to meet those people with whom she was very close in the past. So Chusia goes and meets Schwan He and says, tell me everything about my past. Schwan Hi says, it will take me a lot of time to say all this. After this, Xiaodong takes Chusia to the office. Everyone in the office is happy to see them both. There, Chusia is drawing a picture of Xiaodong and blushes. Over there, Xiaodong tells Sui, I want to go to the company's mainframe room and learn the IT job. Sui refuses. Anyway, then Zhuan, he calls Chusia to meet him. Then he proposes to Chusia for marriage. But Chusia says, marriage is a mutual commitment. I can't do this. Later, Zhuan, he thinks to himself, Chusia, you rejected me. Now I will tell your parents that you have returned. On that side, Chusia is sad and says, tomorrow, my mom and dad are coming. If I meet them, my mom's cardiac pacemaker will be affected because right now the bracelet is with Chen. So Xiaodong calls Chen and asks for a favor. Then Chen sends a magnetic field stabilizing costume for Chusia. This costume is very big, so Xiaodong fits it inside a teddy bear. Then he makes Chusia wear this costume, but its chain breaks. Chusia says, fix the zip, otherwise I won't be able to meet my parents. So Xiaodong also fixes that zip. Then everyone is looking at Chusia in this teddy bear costume. After this, Xiaodong is laughing, looking at Chusia. Chusia hits him. Then they both get into the car, and Schwan Hi sees this. Then Chusia's parents, Xiaodong, and Chusia have dinner. Chusia is unable to eat. Just then, Schwan Hi arrives there. Chusia's parents say, we were just coming to meet you, but a few days ago, you held our daughter's funeral. Then you said you were going to marry her. Who are you going to marry after all? Schwan. He looks towards the teddy bear and says, her. Then he removes the teddy bear's head and everyone sees that Chusia is inside the teddy bear. Chusia's parents get emotional and say, she can come home whenever she wants. Then they tell Xiaodong, you have to take care of Chusia. After this, Chusia's parents leave from there. Later, Xiaodong tells them, Chusia has forgotten her past memories. Her parents say, why don't we take her to old places where she has been before? This might help her remember her memory. On that side, Zhuan, who sees a video of a pub where a client is forcing Chen to drink. Then Zhuan He goes there to save her. Later, Chen asks him, have you started liking me? Schwan Hi says, no, and kisses Chen. Over there, Xiaodong tells Chusia, Chen has sent the wristband for you. Now you don't have to stay with me everywhere. Here, Sui and Xiaodong are about to go to the mainframe room. Sui says, you go inside the mainframe room and copy the codes. Then do the rest of the work too, so the boss will think you have done all the work and he will be happy. After this, Xiaodong goes into the mainframe room and copies something. On that side, Xiaoyang messages Schwan Hi. Someone has hacked our application, and he is trying to find out something. Schwan Hi says, this is a 10-year-old matter. He won't be able to find anything. Here in the office, all the employees are standing in a line with parcels. An employee tells Xiaodong, someone has hacked the company's server. The authority thinks someone from within the company has done this. Then Xiaodong and the Sui talk. Xiaodong says, I had turned off the mainframe room's camera. Sui says, and the lobby's camera has been broken for a long time, so we won't get caught. Over there, Chen's assistant comes to meet Schwan Hi, but Schwan Hi's staff stop him. So that assistant says, I have to tell you something about Chusia. Chen is also watching all this. Then Chen's assistant Wang Yi and Schwan Hi go to a separate place. Wang Yi says, Chusia has a wristband on her hand which is her stabilizer. Schwan Hi says, so you are saying that Chusia has come from 10 years ago. She is 22 years old now. But why are you telling me all this? Wang Yi says, I am the only one who can help you about Chusia. After this, Chusia is decorating summertime when she remembers a memory where Schwan Hi was searching for something in her room, and then he tells Chusia, how can you do this to me? Just then a calendar fell, on which the date was written as the 18th of November. The scene comes to the current time, and Chusia asks Yuan, did I disappear on the 18th of November? Yuan says, yes. After this, Chusia thinks, if the image I remember is true, then why did Schwan Hi lie to me? Then Schwan Hi is reading about Chusia's gravitational forces and thinks, why did Chusia hide her secret from me? Then he goes to meet Chusia, so Chusia asks him, I remembered a memory. What were you searching for in my house on the 18th of November? Schwan Hi says, I had some document. I was searching for that. After this, Chusia remembers the symbol of a logo. Schwan Hi thinks, to gain her trust, I have to tell her the truth. So he shows Chusia a university's logo and says, is it this logo? Chusia says, yes. She asks, is there any mountain near that university? Schwan, he says, yes. Then they both go there. Here, Xiaodong thinks, Xiaoyang is the one who framed my dad in the application issue. Along with him, there is also a person from the cyber company. Then Xiaodong's suspicion falls on Schwan Hi. Just then, he gets a message from Chusia. So he calls Dr. Tian. Dr. Tian knows where Chusia has gone, so she tells this to Xiaodong. Then Xiaodong leaves to reach there. In the mountain, Chusia remembers that Schwan Hi had pushed her. As it is a full moon night, Chusia disappears from there. She directly arrives 10 years ago, where she is sitting for a meal with her parents. Schwan Hi also comes there. Chusia's dad says, Schwan Hi, you have become a shareholder of Piggy Tech. Hearing this, Chusia thinks, this means Schwan Hi is the one who framed Xiaodong's dad. Then Schwan Hi takes Chusia inside the room. He is searching for something. Then she asks Chusia, where have you kept it? Chusia says, what thing? If it was so important to you, why didn't you take care of it? After this, Schwan Hi leaves from there. The scene shifts to 2021. And Schwan Hi gets some information about the death of a person named Xiaoi. Then Schwan Hi thinks to himself, Chusia, I didn't try to hurt you, but now, stay in the universe you have gone to, don't come back to me. Here, Xiaodong, Xiaorui, and Yuan are searching for Chusia. Xiaorui thinks Chusia has gone to another world. Still, Yuan thinks about finding her. After this, the scene shifts to 2011, and Chusia doesn't leave her house at all because this was the time when she disappeared. So she stays at home so that she doesn't disappear. After this, she finds a document from which she learns that Schwan Hi stole Xiaodong's dad's license and gave it to Piggy Technology. Then Chusia thinks, the universe has brought me back to save Xiaodong's dad. Then she leaves her house to give that document to Xiaodong's dad. On the way, she bumps into Xiaodong, but she can't recognize him. Then she goes to that mountain. Schwan Hi is also there. Chusia sees him and is running, and then she falls. The scene shifts to 2021, and Chusia comes and falls into Schwan Hi's house. Schwan Hi removes Chen from there and starts talking to Chusia. On that side, Xiaodong's assistant Turing finds Chusia's location. Xiaodong meets Chusia and tells her, I like you. Here we see in a flashback, Schwan Hi tells Chusia, "Not me. You stole the document. My dad had rejected our relationship. Then I started a business. My research procedure was similar to Xiaodong's dad's procedure." He continues, "You and I had worked hard. You brought that document from Xiaodong's dad's office." Chusia says, "Why should I trust you?" So Schwan, he shows her a newspaper and says, "Here is your picture where you are going to Xiaodong's dad's office." Chusia says, "But how do I know his dad?" Schwan Hi says, "You would know that." Chusia asks, "Why did you come after me to the mountain that day?" Schwan Hi says, "When you found out that Xiaodong's dad had died, you felt bad, and you wanted to surrender. I couldn't see you doing that, so I came after you." The scene comes to the current time where Xiaodong tells Chusia, "Come on, let's get together." Chusia says nothing. Then Yuan comes and hugs Chusia and says, "Now don't leave us and go anywhere." After this, Xiaodong tells Chusia, "If something happened to you in the past, you can tell me. We will face it together." Here, Chen tells Wang Yi about Chusia's sudden appearance, so Wang Yi says, "It means Chusia's energy is connected to the energy I collected. It means I succeeded." Anyway, then Chusia calls Tian and asks to be hypnotized. Tian says, "You have to bring someone with you." Chusia takes Schwan Hi. After all this, Chusia is at summertime, and Chen comes there and says bad things about summertime and does a live stream. Chusia says, "If any customer has no problem with our food, then Chen will have to apologize." Chen takes her aside and says, "I warned you to stay away from Schwan Hi, and I should apologize?" Then Chen holds Chusia's hand, and her bracelet falls from Chusia's hand. Then, as soon as her hand touches the table, the lights there start flickering on and off, and everyone looks at Chusia. They ask, "Are you an alien, or do you have some superpower?" Just then, the other workers of the shop take all the people out and lock the shop from the outside. Chusia remains inside. Xiaodong signals to Chusia from the window, so Chusia opens the window, and then Xiaodong lifts her in his arms, takes her to a tree and says, "No one will come here." Then Chusia says, "Going back 10 years, I found out that I am the one who killed your dad." Then Chusia, Yuan, and Xiao Rui are sitting together. Yuan says, "I don't trust Yuan, he's proof. I trust you. You cannot kill Xiaodong's dad." Just then, Xiao Rui says, "What is Xiaodong's reaction to this?" Yuan says, "Don't you trust Chusia?" Xiao Rui says, "I can't say anything on Xiaodong's behalf." Here, Yuan shows Chusia childhood photos. Chusia asks, "Why have you cut all the photos in half?" Yuan says nothing to this and jumps to another topic. On that side, Schwan Hi stops Chen's live streaming and says, "I told you, stay away from Chusia." Chen says she killed Xiaodong's dad. Schwan Hi says, "As long as it's possible, I will help Chusia." Then Yaoyang comes there and says, "I can't believe Xiaodong is Xu Wei's son." Schwan Hi says, "Xiaodong is in your company." Yaoyang says, "His aunt used to work in an insurance company. Through her, he came to our company." Then Xiaodong goes to the office and the receptionist says, "You have been fired from the company." Right there, Yaoyang and Xiaodong are looking at each other with angry eyes. On that side, as soon as Summertime's gate opens, people go to Chusia and ask, "Are you an alien?" Just then, Xiaodong comes there, throws water on them, and takes Chusia away from there. Chusia says, "I don't think I killed your dad. Do you trust me?" Xiaodong says, "Yes." Then Chusia makes a live video and says, "I am not an alien," and then launches her new alien cake. After this, Chusia's parents send a message on Yuan's phone. "We have come to the shop where we used to come to eat dessert with Chusia. We are always with Chusia. Our support will always be with her." Here, Schwan, he tells his assistant, "Go to Xiaodong's house and get more information about him." Then they go to Xiaodong's house, and just then, Xiaodong arrives there. Along with this, Aunt Weiwei also arrives, and seeing them, Schwan Hi's people run away. Then Xiaodong goes to Yaoyang and says, "You have stolen Xu Wei's license." Yaoyang says, "Who is Xu Wei?" Then Xiaodong challenges him, saying, "You have to tell me everything truthfully in the next 24 hours. Anyway, then Xiao Rui asks Xiaodong, "You are doing all this to prove Chusia innocent, right?" Xiaodong says, "Yes." On that side, Schwan Hi calls Yaoyang, but no one receives the call. Schwan Hi thinks to himself, "Yaoyang, can you hide from me?" After this, Xiao Rui and Xiaodong go by car and reach a place. Yuan and Chusia also go to that place, but the security guard stops them, thinking they are maids. Then a car arrives there, and that car is a branded one, so the security guard does not stop that car. Actually, Xiaodong and Xiao Rui are in that car, so Chusia and Yuan go and enter that car. Then they are all near Yaoyang's villa. Xiaodong installs a motion camera so that whenever there is any movement in the house, an alarm will ring. They spend the night there. The next day, the camera shows Yaoyang leaving his house. Schwan Hi's staff comes to take him, but Xiaoyang starts running. Xiaodong starts hitting those staff members. Those staff members go to hit Xiaoyang, so Chusia saves his life. Then those staff members run away from there. Chusia asks Xiaoyang, "The one who gave you Xiaodong's dad's license, that was me, right?" Xiaoyang says, "In all this, it is Xiaodong's dad's assistant, Xiaoqi." Then Chusia goes to meet Schwan Hi. She asks about Xiaoqi. Schwan Hi says, "Xiaoyang has lied to you." Chusia says, "But Xiaoqi is real, right? Tell me about her. You have stolen the license certificate through others and blamed me." After this, Schwan Hi goes to Wang Yi and says, "Can this machine make Chusia disappear?" Wang Yi says, "I need some time." Schwan Hi thinks to himself, "Chusia, you have left me no option." On that side, Chusia tells Yuan about Xiaoqi. Yuan says, "Not only me, you also know Xiaoqi. You, me, and Xiaoqi used to be best friends. But after you disappeared, she didn't ask anything about you. So what kind of best friend was she to you? You asked that day why I cut the pictures in half. Actually, I had separated her picture from our picture. Anyway, then Chusia and Xiaodong find out that Xiaoqi died 8 years ago. After this, everyone goes to Chusia's house to find a clue because the license certificate was found in her house. Here, Xiaodong is avoiding Chusia. Yuan asks Chusia, "Why is he doing this?" On that side, Xiaodong tells Xiaorui, "Until I know about Chusia's feelings, it's awkward for me to be around her." Here, Chusia tells Yuan, "Maybe he is doing this because I rejected him, but only I know how much I like him." Yuan says, "Then you should propose to him." So, Chusia makes a cake for Xiaodong and is about to propose to him, but Xiaorui comes and eats that cake. At night too, Xiaorui ruins their plan. Then Xiaorui says, "I didn't know you were going to propose to him." Then he gives Chusia 2 fair tickets and says, "Take him to the fair." But Xiaodong refuses to go to the fair with her. Right there, Chen comes and talks to Chusia separately and says, "Schwan Hi is trying to hide your crime. Don't hurt him." Chusia says, "What you know about me is a lie." Anyway, then, the next day, Xiaodong and Chusia go to the fair. There, suddenly Chusia disappears. Then Xiaodong calls Chusia and she sends a drone to Xiaodong. She tells Xiaodong, "Follow this drone." Then Xiaodong reaches a place and sees that it is written there, "I want to lead a happy and simple life with you." Chusia is on the balcony. Xiaodong starts going towards her. Just then, Schwan Hi comes to Chusia and says, "I have to say something about Xiaodong's dad." By the time Xiaodong reaches Chusia's place, he sees from the window that Chusia and Schwan Hi are going somewhere. Then they come to Wang Yi's factory where he has made the machine to make Chusia disappear. Chusia understands everything, but just then Xiaodong comes to save her. But by then, Schwan Hi has pushed Chusia under that machine and opened the bracelet from her hand, and Chusia disappears. She reaches 2011 and thinks, "The universe gave me a second chance. I must utilize it." Then she goes to Xiaodong's dad's company and, by telling the receptionist, talks to Xiaodong's dad on the call. But Xiaodong's dad, hearing her name, asks Xiaoqi about Chusia. Xiaoqi says, "She is my best friend." So Xiaodong's dad gives her the phone and Chusia tells Xiaoqi to confess everything. Xiaoqi doesn't do so and says, "I am working for Schwan Hi and you don't have any proof against me either." After this, Chusia asks the receptionist for Shu Wei's personal number, but she says, "We don't give numbers to outsiders." Chusia says, "I am not an outsider, I am his future daughter-in-law." Just then, Xiaodong comes there and says, "Who wants to be my wife?" Hearing Xiaodong's voice, Chusia covers her face. Xiaodong wants to see her face by force, so Chusia pushes him and runs away. Xiaodong says, "The old lady pushed me." Chusia says, "I am not an old lady. I am a fairy." Just then, Chusia remembers that Xiaodong used to tell her about a fairy. Actually, Chusia is that fairy. Then Chusia takes Xiaodong to his house and says, "When your dad comes back, tell him to call me." After this, Chusia meets Yuan. Yuan asks her, "Did you bring your things from Xiaoqi's house? You two live together." Then, Chusia goes to Xiaoqi's house and sees a note that she herself has written. It is written there, "I have taken my things." Here, it is shown in a flashback that Chusia is taking a document from Xiaoqi's house. There she finds photos of Schwan Hi on which it is written, "I don't care about anyone." Here in a flashback, we see Chusia and Xiaoqi are talking. Xiaoqi says, "I have a secret crush on Schwan Hi. To get close to him, I made friends with you." Hearing all this, Chusia feels bad. The scene comes to the current time and Xiaodong is shouting Chusia's name, but she has disappeared. The scene goes to the past, and Chusia is sitting on a swing and talking a lot with Xiaodong. The scene comes to the current time, and Xiaodong is also sitting on the same swing and missing Chusia. Then Yuan tells Aunt Wei Wei everything about Chusia. Aunt says, "Don't worry, Xiaodong and Chen will search and bring her back." The scene goes to the past, and Xiaoyang gets a contract signed by Schwan Hi. He also gives Schwan Hi Xiaodong's dad's license. Just then, Chusia comes to meet Schwan Hi, and she is looking at Schwan Hi with anger. She says, "Are you really on a business trip?" Schwan Hi says, "You don't trust me?" Chusia says, "Don't work with Xiaoyang. You have also stolen Shu Wei's system code." Schwan Hi says, "I am doing this so that we can have a better future and my dad accepts you." The scene shifts to 2021 and Schwan Hi tells his staff, "Make an announcement in the department about the launch of the Family First app." The staff says, "The issue related to that app has not been solved yet." Just then, Chen comes there and tells Schwan Hi, "I thought we both were the same, but I can't hurt someone like you." Then Chen goes to Xiaodong, Yuan, and the rest and apologizes. She says, "I didn't know Schwan Hi was doing all this." Then Chen takes these people to Wang Yi. Wang Yi starts running, but they catch him. Everyone asks him about that disappearing machine. He says, "It is broken right now. I can fix it, but in return, I have to be allowed to work in the lab, and I can't guarantee that Chusia will come back with it." The scene shifts to 2011, where Xiaodong tells his dad, "An unknown person gave this number and told about the Piggy Tech company." So his dad starts researching about the Piggy Tech company, and then he goes to that company's conference. Going there, he says, "Piggy Tech company has stolen our system certificate, but no one trusts him." Chusia also hears all this and goes out to Xiaodong. Xiaodong is very sad, so Chusia says, "You have to be strong." After this, there is media in front of Shu Wei's company. The receptionist there tells Chusia, "You said all this was done by Xiaoqi. I know Shu Wei cannot do this." Then Chusia calls Shu Wei and says, "I know you haven't done anything." Shu Wei says, "This was the struggle of my whole life. Now my reputation is also gone." Just then, he starts having chest pain. Chusia remembers Xiaodong saying, "Whenever dad is sad, he goes under the old tree." Chusia goes there, but she is unable to save Xiaodong's dad. She thinks, "The universe gave me another chance, but I couldn't do anything." Then Chusia gets an idea that if she can keep the license certificate with her for 10 years, then Shu Wei can be proven innocent. Now this day is a full moon day, and it is the 18th of November. Chusia waits for Schwan Hi. He comes, so Chusia says, "Find the document you want." But Schwan Hi doesn't find anything, and he leaves from there. After this, Chusia hides the real document under that old tree. Then she goes to the university's mountain. Schwan Hi also comes there, so Chusia falls from the mountain and reaches 2021. Everyone is happy to see her. Xiaodong says, "I couldn't reply to you then, but I'm saying it now. I love you." Here, Wang Yi goes under his machine and disappears. Chen says, "The universe has given him his punishment." Chusia tells Xiaodong everything. Chusia takes Xiaodong to that tree. They both think about how they will get that document out from under the tree. Some children were playing with a spade there. Xiaodong takes the spade from them and digs that place. A box comes out from that place, but it is empty. Chusia says, "When I put the document in this box was new." Xiaodong says, "It's been 10 years. The box was bound to be affected by time. You did your best. Maybe history cannot be changed, but I have changed because of you." After this, Chusia and Xiaodong are on the rooftop. Chusia tells Xiaodong, "In the past, your dad told me, I don't want my son to do anything for me. He just wants him to always be happy in the future." Then Chusia scans the QR code of Xiaodong's phone, and "I love you" is written there. Chusia asks, "Do you like me from a long time ago?" Xiaodong says, "Yes," and kisses Chusia. Here, Schwan Hi's staff tells him the app issue has been solved because of that source code. Schwan Hi launches his app in front of everyone. Over there, Xiaodong says, "To make Schwan Hi's plan fail, we have to try in every way." After this, Chusia goes to meet Schwan Hi and says, "Whenever I come back, I have to deal with you." Then she says, "I have found out everything. You have stolen Xiaodong's dad's license and source code." Anyway, then Chusia and Xiaodong are in the car. So Chusia says, "I want to go to my parents. To help me remember my memories, they are wandering from place to place." Then Xiaodong takes her to her parents. They stay there that night. Now Chusia has to shift to her parents' house. So she starts picking up pots from Xiaodong's house along with her belongings. Xiaodong tells her, "You don't need to pick up all the pots. You have some bad habits too." Then Xiaodong starts counting all of Chusia's bad habits. The next day, Xiaodong helps Chusia shift her belongings. Then Xiaodong says, "Don't you think something is wrong? First, you came to me. Now you are leaving me alone and going." Chusia says, "You are behaving exactly like you did 10 years ago. I have to live with my parents." But you know what? You are right. Then Chusia kisses Xiaodong and leaves from there. Thinking about that kiss, Xiaodong becomes happy. The next day, they both go on a date and are about to click a selfie, but Chusia's parents come in between. Chusia says, I couldn't say no to them. Anyway, then Xiaodong meets Schwan Hi and says, remove your app, because when your app has 10 million users, your app will not be able to handle their information, and this can also lead to the user's death. Schwan Hi says, my app is running well. Why should I believe your lie? Later, Schwan Hi's staff tells him that the app is having the same problem that Xiaodong had mentioned. Schwan Hi says, I just want to know, when will this issue be solved? The staff says, the IT team is saying it is difficult to solve this. Still, Schwan Hi goes with his employees and celebrates that app. Here, Xiaodong informs everyone from his Winter ID that they should remove themselves from Schwan Hi's app. Schwan Hi finds this out. He says, why is Winter doing this? Isn't he a game developer? Then he tells his staff, contact Winter as soon as possible. His staff says, it is difficult to contact him. No one has his contact number. Anyway, then Schwan. He is about to enter his company where the media people are. Everyone asks him questions, but he does not reply to any of them. After this, all the investors cancel their contract with Schwan Hi. On that side, Yuan gets this news and tells everyone. Here, Xiaodong calls Schwan Hi in the disguise of Winter. He is wearing a cap, so Schwan, he cannot recognize him. Xiaodong says, remove your application, otherwise this is just the beginning. After all this, Xiaorui asks Xiaodong, when are you going to tell Chusia that you are Winter? Xiaodong says, Winter is her first friend. I will not tell her now. I will tell her the truth when the time comes. After this, Xiaodong comes in front of Chusia's house and throws a school uniform inside her room. He wants Chusia to wear a school uniform and go out with him. Then, they both wear school uniforms and go out. They are at the beach and are lighting firecrackers. Here, Chen finds out that the gravitational forces are becoming weak. Over there, after wandering around, Xiaodong kisses Chusia on the face and goes to his house. Just then, Chen comes to Chusia and says, you are not surprised to see me, and you are noticing these changes within you. Actually, the gravitational forces are weakening. You can disappear at any time. You probably have 15 days left. On that side, Xiaodong is at his game conference. Qin sees him. Now Qin has found out that Xiaodong is Winter. Xiaodong tells Qin, tell Schwan Hi not to repeat his mistake. After this, Qin goes into her house, and Schwan he hugs her from behind. After this, Qin says, I can't see you getting hurt anymore. Actually, Xiaodong is Winter, and now you will have to suffer a lot for your mistakes. Over there, Yuan sees that Chusia's hands and feet are starting to disappear. Then Chusia tells her, I am going to disappear very soon. Yuan becomes sad. Then Xuan, he comes to Chusia, and he also sees that Chusia's hands and legs are disappearing. He says, why is this still happening to you? And does Xiaodong know all this? Chusia says, what's it to you? Anyway, then Xuan, he is with Xiaodong and tells him, so you are Winter. If I had known earlier that you are so smart, I would never have let you get ahead. Anyway, then Xiaodong goes to Chusia and sees that Chusia's hand is disappearing. He goes and asks Chen, can't we stop Chusia from disappearing? Chen says, Chusia is existing here because of her energy. If we send her to 2011, she will be able to live like a normal person. Xiaodong says, if I bring the parts of the machine that sends to the past, can that machine be fixed? And can we send Chusia to the past? Chen says, yes. After this, Chen goes to Chusia and says, when you go to the past, you will have to face Schwan Hi. But it is also true that you came as sunshine for Xiaodong. After this, Yuan informs everyone that she and Xiaorui are going to get married. Anyway, then Xiaodong goes to Schwan He, and Schwan Hi gets ready to give him Wang Yi's research data. This will help Xiaodong fix the machine that makes Chusia disappear. But in return for this, Schwan Hi wants Winter's ID so that he can make a place for himself in the gaming space. After this, Schwan Hi reveals in front of everyone that he is Winter. But Chusia has understood that Winter is actually Xiaodong, so she doesn't like this. She tells Xiaodong, you don't need to lose everything for me. Then she goes to Schwan He, but his security guards don't let her meet Schwan Hi. Chusia thinks, I knew you wouldn't be able to face me. Then she goes to Schwan Hi's dad and tells him everything. Schwan Hi's dad says, I promise I will talk to him. Then Schwan Hi's dad tells Schwan Hi, from today, you are not my son. Schwan Hi says, I don't want to be your son either. I haven't received a dad's love since childhood. Then Chusia goes to Xiaodong's office and tells his colleagues, the real Winter is not in the game right now. That's why we should wait for his return and support him. Hearing this, all the employees agree to support the real Winter. Then the news comes that Schwan Hi's dad has endorsed Schwan Hi's Family First app. Chusia thinks, why is he backing down from his word? Then she goes to their house and Schwan Hi's dad faints. Later, it is found out that by using the Family First app, he took an overdose of medicine and that's why he fainted. Now, Chusia and Xiaodong have admitted him to the hospital. Chusia tells Xiaodong, now maybe Schwan Hi will shut down his app. Then Chusia's hand starts to disappear. Then she faints. Xiaodong admitted her to the hospital. Then everyone comes to see Chusia. After this, Xiaodong tells Chen the arrangements to send Chusia to the past have to be made soon. On that side, Schwan Hi goes to see his dad. His dad says, "Maybe I was a little too strict with you. If you have made a mistake, admit it. Whatever happens, your family will face it with you." Hearing this, Schwan Hi gets emotional. After this, he calls Chen and says, "I am canceling your contract with our company." Chen says, "Whatever issue there is with the Family First app, we will face it together." Schwan Hi says, "I have never liked you from the beginning. I just played with you." Then Schwan Hi leaves from there. Then Xiaodong calls Schwan Hi to meet him. He says, "You give me all the data of that app, I will fix its bugs." If my dad were here, he would have done the same. So then Schwan Hi gives him all the data. Then Schwan Hi does a live stream and says that he was the one who stole Xiaodong's dad's license certificate. Seeing this, Xiaodong and Chusia are also happy. After this, Xiaodong tells Chusia, "We will always be together." Anyway, then Xiaodong proposes to Chusia for marriage and also puts an engagement ring on her. But because Chusia's hand is disappearing, Xiaodong puts that engagement ring around her neck. Anyway, then Schwan Hi meets Chusia and says, "Perhaps you wanted to meet me." Chusia says, "You have accepted your mistake, so now there is no reason to meet you." She also says, "We can't always live in the past." After this, Yuan wears her wedding dress. She tells Chusia, "Wear a wedding dress too." Chusia says, "It's not my wedding, is it?" Yuan says, "But you wanted to look like the most beautiful bride in the world." Then Chusia wears a wedding dress and looks very pretty. Xiaodong and Xiaorui just keep staring at Yuan and Chusia. Then, Xiaorui gives Yuan a ring and proposes to her. At night, Xiaodong shows Chusia the full moon he made, in which there is an image of both of them. Xiaodong will always keep looking at this full moon. Then, Xiaodong says, "I love you," to Chusia, and kisses her. Anyway, then Yuan and Xiaorui's wedding day comes. Aunt Wei Wei makes a star on Chusia's hand and says, "If you make a wish with this star, it will come true." Anyway, then Chusia comes to the wedding place and disappears. At this, Xiaodong starts crying a lot. After this, Chusia reached 10 years ago, but this time she does a lot to change her future. She explains to Schwan Hi about his mistakes, and this time, Schwan Hi listens to her. Then Chusia also tells Xiaodong's dad everything. And then she also gives him medicine. Along with this, she also gives him his license certificate. Xiaodong's dad says, "I am shifting from here with my family." After this, 10 years pass. It is Yuan's wedding day. Yuan is marrying Xiaorui. Just then, Chusia sees Xiaodong. She goes to Xiaodong. Here, Yuan tells Xiaorui, "She is my best friend, Chusia." Xiaorui says, "And he is my best friend, Xiaodong." Over there, Xiaodong asks Chusia, "Do we know each other?" Chusia says in her mind, "I will always be with you." And with this, the drama ends. If you want to watch the drama Dating in the Kitchen, you can click on the right video to watch it.